It's about 6 a.m., 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Clear sky out here in central Utah. I'm not usually up this early, but I'm trying to get some trees in the ground before it gets too hot. But I wanted to show you the food forest. It all starts here on a street in the suburbs, right? And show you what we got going on. We got lots of lettuce, we got tomatoes. I just tied those up a couple days ago. We got our buried gas lines. We got these marked because we're planting trees. So right here is our cherry tree. Planted 3 years ago. It's about 8 feet tall at this point, which is the tallest thing we've got in our food forest. And yeah, if I show you what it looks like here, it's really more of a meadow than a forest because that's the only plant right now that's taller than me, right? We got this miniature nectarine tree, got a couple apple trees and whatnot. Lots of ground covers, but raspberries along this fence. Oh, but here's our new trees that we're putting in right here. So yeah, I just want to turn it into more of a forest. So right here is a hackberry. It's like a full-size tree here. And this is really going to be the centerpiece here that brings a lot of shade to the area. Got a few other really exciting trees to plant as well, but wanted to finish off showing you around. So here's our cherry tree. Here's a sage. I planted this about 2 years ago from seed. It comes back every year. Really nice flowers. It hasn't bloomed like this before. Super cool. Right here, it's a Costco apple tree. Got this for $20 and it was well worth it. I would prefer this to any other nursery apple tree. It's got such a nice form already and it was only 20 bucks. That's crazy. So as you can see here, our food forest neighbors, it's right next to a neighboring lawn and we're actually kind of uphill from it. So all along here, we've got kind of this slope to deal with, which can be tricky. You know, I don't want mulch falling down on here, anything like that. I'm trying to keep it in control. And we also definitely get a little bit of overspray from lawn sprinklers. So this area does get some moisture. So what I've done here is I've just planted a lot of ground cover plants to try and compete with the weeds. So we got the yarrow, one of my favorites, comfrey, you know, but basically just trying to cover the ground here. Yeah, just trying to get a good variety of everything. See, we got a little strawberry here, a few strawberries actually. Might eat one. I haven't eaten anything yet today. Take those two. Just grab a few of these. So anyways, time to eat some breakfast. This is a Utah Serviceberry tree. It's so small, and what you'll notice about these trees I'm planting, they're in these plug-shaped containers, tall and thin. And I really like this because it's a really approachable way to plant a tree or a shrub. This is something I can plant in 5 to 10 minutes, but will get just as big as if I had purchased a bigger plant. And they're really cheap. Got a nice native plant nursery near me where these are only this was $10. And then this is a tree that's gonna get 10 to 15 feet tall. And every single one of these plants I'm planting today produces berries that are edible by humans and birds. So great wildlife benefits, which is also something I'm focusing on. So I put this sunflower stalk here to mark. This is where I'm planting a currant. I'll have some vids of what currants look like, but they're just really nice, 6 foot tall shrubs that make berries. So golden currant. And that'll do a nice job of hiding this fence, which I'm not a fan of these plastic fences. So anything we can do to get that hidden. And then I've got the rest of these spots marked. So let's get these planted, I guess. Pull this out of the plug, see what we're working with. Nice. Wow. That took like 1 minute of digging. There it is, I guess. One currant in the ground. Let's go plant the other one. It should only take a minute. Let's go. All right, so here's where the second currant is going. It's right here where the sunflower is. So we're bordering the lawn here. We're on the corner out by the street. This could be an interesting strategy here. So instead of digging, opening it up, this is what the lady at the nursery told me. It's working. Dig a tiny bit off. Oh, that's perfect. It's perfect. Try to compact it down. It's been like 5 minutes. I already got 2 currants in the ground. That's crazy. Typically in the suburbs or whatever, people really prefer like well spaced out plants and whatnot. But as you can see, like my strategy here is planting things super densely. Just as an example, let me show you in this row. So here's what I'm trying to grow in this row is a cucumber. And yeah, there's a lot of weeds around it that I need to pull to help reduce competition. But alongside that, I have strawberries, violas, which are edible flowers. Maybe I'll eat one of those. Yum. Beet, kale, comfrey, milkweed for the butterflies, sage, parsley, cilantro, which I left just for the pollinators, carrots, I didn't plant those, sunflower. Oh look, there's a ladybug on this one. I see lots of ladybugs around here, which I think is good. Cosmos, calendula. And here's our other serviceberry tree. This is a much larger one, not the Utah one, but as you can see, it's just crazy dense here. Oregano, honeyberry, just so much diversity, so many plants. But still, the wood chips here and just the general area really doesn't have much shade, which is what I'm working on here. So that's why we're gonna plant this Utah serviceberry. So serviceberry, also called Juneberry, they produce these blue berries that actually taste pretty good. Different varieties kind of taste different, but it's for the birds, for the pollinators, for all of it. It's really drought hardy, heat tolerant type of tree kind of thing. So, and I've got this one marked for about right here. So let me set this tripod down. When I'm trying to choose where to plant a tree, I'm thinking about a lot of things. One thing is I'm thinking about the mature size that it's going to be. So this tree is gonna get up to 10 to 15 feet tall and wide, which is a pretty small tree. But the reason I wanna think about that is because I need to think about how it's going to interact with all the other trees I have planted here, as well as the neighboring lawn here, for example. I could even keep this little sunflower stake in the ground, actually. Just like that. I just planted a 10-foot tree in the ground, and this thing costs like $10. It's crazy. Okay, let's plant this hackberry. imagine if I had this hackberry in the ground 3 years ago. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is today, right? There's so many rocks. Post hole. Oh shit, I just stepped on it. I just stepped on it, bro. Oh my gosh. It's gonna be fine. Also, when you plant your trees, peel back the soil until you see the root flare. Don't want to be burying that. So the root flare is where, at the base of the stem, where it starts to get wider for these roots. So just about right here, you can see it was buried up to about here. And if you plant a tree too deep, it's gonna rot. It's not gonna do well. So it's one of the most important things you can do when you're planting a tree is make sure the root flare is exposed. Don't put it too deep. So these stakes are just sunflowers. Pretty cool. So this one just looks super vulnerable to being stepped on and whatnot. So let's give it a little support here. There you go. No one's gonna step on that, right? And we'll grab a couple rocks. Hopefully that does well. 7:30. I'm usually not even awake at this time, and I've already planted 4 trees. I'm counting the currants as trees, I don't care. I hate saying trees and shrubs because they're only shrubs. Who cares? I'm so tired. Oh, automatic irrigation system. That's drip irrigation right there. Just all around. We've got a little dripper on here. I think it's a 2 gallon per hour. I'm just gonna move this snail. And I'm just gonna put that directly uphill of our hackberry. That's how you plant a food forest in a drought. That's what you do. Plant a hackberry. Planting a food forest is a way of planting security. We're planting food security. These are berries that are edible if I really ever needed to. We're planting climate security because this is shade that will directly improve the microclimate of our yard that I can hang out in, or provide shade to cool our house, evapotranspiration to cool the area. But also it's landscape resilience in a drought. Comparing this to the lawn it used to be that couldn't go 2 weeks without water. And you need even more water to make it look good. But then say water restrictions happen, say it gets worse. What's gonna happen to the lawns, you know? But what's gonna happen to this hackberry after 2 years when it doesn't really need supplemental irrigation anymore? That's food security, you know, like lettuce, tomatoes, this stuff is good too, especially with rising grocery prices and, you know, just with food quality. But these trees are a type of security you can't match with lettuce, because go 2 weeks without water, this lettuce is gone. Tomatoes might be gone. But the trees, you know, even this cherry tree, but especially the hackberry and the serviceberry, those plants will be just fine. Oh yeah, also here's the currant I planted in my previous video. Same plant, golden currant. It took off. It was only like this tall when I planted it, and it just shot up. I didn't think about how this was gonna like overlap with the tomato trellis, so that's actually gonna get interesting. You know, I think I'd rather prioritize the currant. All right, y'all, thanks for tuning in. Coming with me to add some trees to the food forest. Today's a special day here, really. Added probably the most important tree here, this big shade tree. Big tree. Monumental day. Subscribe for updates on the food forest. It's gonna be sick.